In space, there isn't a whole lot of gravity to go around, but that's what today's event is all about with funnel duels. Hello everyone, I'm your host Quack, and right now the 4K Pixels have a 6-point lead over the Ivy League and the Stingrays, but this title battle is monstrous early on in the season with all three of those teams doing an amazing job so far. But today we have a returning event from the qualifiers with funnel duels. There is the big yellow funnel we're used to seeing. It's very different from any funnel event we've seen in the past in QMC, as instead of being heats of 8, it's going to be a bracket, and it's a team event where the only important thing is your last marble to exit. You just have to have the last one through, and you will be the winner of your matchup. We begin with the Event Horizons and the Galactic Empire here, the two demo teams, including the one from MSG, who should be experienced in funnels from their home tournament. And right now it looks like they might have the upper hand, but I think the Event Horizons are going a bit wider right now. And yes, they definitely are. The Galactic Empire have lost all but one, and there goes their final marble. The Event Horizons will be winning this matchup. So, of course, if this was a real match, the Event Horizons would be moving on to the next round. The Galactic Empire would be ranked by their time in this round, but of course it is not. But we saw in the qualifiers where it was just based on pure times. This time around, it's a bracket event, so it's not quite as there's not quite as much pressure to rack up your time as much. But the Event Horizons with a 14:74, that's an amazing time, and that beats the old record set by the Jelly Jammers in the qualifiers. Teams like the Jelly Jammers, like Team Pixie, the Chili Peppers, were great in this event in the qualifiers. They're ones to watch. Meanwhile, the Ivy League, 4K Pixels, and the Stingrays, our main championship contenders, all very spread out in this standings seeded bracket. But we begin with the Ivy League up against the Stone Golems. The Ivy League really need to advance here if they want to stay in this title fight. Right now, the Stone Golems, though, I think they have the upper hand, but they're switching back and forth. It comes down to the final marble, and the Ivy League, I think, will take the win. Yes, they will, and the Ivy League trying to keep in that main battle that we've seen every single event so far. The 4K Pixels have gotten a medal, and really every one of these teams has been so consistent. The Ivy League are coming off of a medal streak right now. They're trying to expand it, evidently. Meanwhile, the Stone Golems, unfortunately, their struggles this season only continuing here. It doesn't look like their time was all that bad, but, actually, a 9.82. Not the greatest. You want to try and get to 10 seconds at least if you want to try and contend. But now we move on to the King Crabs versus the Loaves of Bread. These two much closer to the middle of the standings. We'll see how these two do. It looks like the King Crabs are going to quickly lose a couple, but they also have their captain going wide. Fiddler, can they fight off the other two Loaves of Bread? They fought off one, but it's just not going to happen. The Loaves of Bread will be taking the win here. The King Crabs got a medal in the very first event, but it really is only further unraveled ever since then. And Bun, the captain of the Loaves of Bread, spinning around in celebration down there. The Loaves of Bread definitely needed a few points. They got a medal in the last event in block pushing, very respectable for them, but they haven't had much else to say so far this season, and 11-11 is a very solid time for them. They usually aren't the greatest in team events, so pulling one through here is impressive. Now we move on to the Azure Diamonds up against our host, the Flying Saucers. Neither of these teams are super high in the standings right now. The Azure Diamonds got that gold medal a couple events ago, but block pushing wasn't great for them. Right now, it's almost hard to tell these teams apart, but the Flying Saucers definitely have the advantage, and I think they're the only ones left. The Flying Saucers are going to absolutely dominate this round with, I think, a full sweep of the top three. Yes, they definitely did. The Flying Saucers getting it done here. Very impressive for our hosts, unsurprising for one of their host-themed events, as I mentioned earlier with the gravity thing, but the Azure Diamonds really not able to put up a fight here. They've actually medaled in Funnel Endurance in the B-League before, but of course we're seeing the skill set is very different for this event, and a 14:50 is one of the best times we've seen all day, aside from the Event Horizons, of course. Now a familiar rivalry matchup. The Stingrays and Snapping Turtles seem to keep meeting in these bracket events, but right now the Snapping Turtles have a huge advantage. The Stingrays are down to their final marble, and they lost it. The Snapping Turtles get a perfect sweep here, all four of their marbles taking the top four spots, and the Stingrays, one of those big championship contenders, is going to go down here, and I think that's going to be a very poor time for them, getting all four of their marbles before even a single Snapping Turtles marble came through. They get absolutely devastated here. What happened to them? Their captain came down quickly, the rest of the team followed suit, and I'm not sure if they noticed this wasn't a racing event. A 6:16 is an abysmal time, and the Snapping Turtle is going to over double that. Now we move on to Team Pixie up against the Jelly Jammers. This is a grudge match here. Both of these teams set amazing times in this event in the qualifiers, and right now Team Pixie has the advantage. The Jelly Jammers, the record holders, have a final stand. No, they do not, and Team Pixie will be moving on. The Jelly Jammers, what an upset there. I mean, this was really an unfortunate draw for both teams, considering these were the top two in Group A in the qualifiers in this event. Both of these teams really could have advanced here, but because of the way the standings worked out, the Team Pixie going to get the upper hand here, and very impressive for them, and the Jelly Jammers unfortunately struggling here, considering this was one of the events they probably had circled on their calendar as trying to move up in the standings. It's just not going to happen. Now move on to the Red Rockets up against the City Lights. These two are another familiar pair of teams. We'll see which one of these rivals can make it through. It looks like the Red Rockets struggling right now. The City Lights have that one going wide right now, and I think they're going to hold on to it. The City Lights, actually they're almost getting thwarted, but they will still hold on. The City Lights had a bit of a scare there, but they will be moving on to the next round. I think that's their reserve Lamp, who they subbed in for this event, doing a great job there, leading the team through, and evidently it was a good decision to keep them in here, as the rest of the team almost completely missed to that one Red Rockets marble. The Red Rockets put up a good fight here, but still a 9:37 isn't the greatest time, but a 12:42 for the City Lights is very respectable. Now we move on to the Chili Peppers up against the Pollen Puffs. Both of these teams are generally considered lower in the standings, especially the Pollen Puffs right now, who have already lost one marble very quickly. The Chili Peppers have a huge upper hand right now, and they are one of those teams that did greatness in the qualifiers. The Pollen Puffs only have one marble left. Now they have 0, and the Chili Peppers, in a pretty unsurprising fashion, will be moving on to the next round. Like the Jelly Jammers, this is another team that probably had this event circled on their calendars, one to watch out for, one to be prepared for, considering they're one of those teams that could use some extra points to try and move up into higher up in the mid-pack right now. The Pollen Puffs, their former captain Pollen rolling away in shame there. As now we move on to the 4K Pixels versus the Avocados, the team last in the standings, up against the championship leaders who haven't gotten a single finish below third place. Right now the Avocados are struggling, unsurprisingly, but they have one marble left. They're trying to get the upper hand as close as back and forth. The Avocados have done it. The Avocados pull off the upset in a miracle situation here, and with their one marble Voca beating all 4 of the 4K Pixels, they will be getting it done. How did that happen? The 4K Pixels were great in this event in the qualifiers. The Avocados were decent, but what happened there? They just barely managed to squeak by in the last moment. Some excellent moves from Voca, and they'll be putting the team on their back to move on to the next round. An 11:81 is a very solid time, and the 4K Pixels get their first bottom half finish of the season with 11th here, and that is a shock exit. The Stingrays as well, also doing poor here. The Ivy League have a big opportunity moving on to the next round, as we see them up against the Loaves of Bread in the first match of round 2. This is going to be a very unique results table at the end of this event, considering we've already had the two of our big dominant teams eliminated in the first round. Now we move on to the Ivy League versus the Loaves of Bread. They've just seen the Ivy League have just seen the Pixels go out. Will they suffer the same fate? It doesn't look like it. They have the advantage right now, and I think they will be holding on to it. The Ivy League staying strong here in the face of adversity, knowing that now they have a big opportunity to close that gap. The Loaves of Bread not looking good here, though, and considering they're already in the bottom half of the standings, unfortunately, I don't think they'll be getting another medal in a row here. The Ivy League looking very solid here now. They've already guaranteed a top 4 result now. If they can get a medal, I think they can pretty comfortably take the point lead away from the 4K Pixels. Now I move on to the Flying Saucers versus the Snapping Turtles. The Snapping Turtles are great in funnel endurance, and we've seen evidently that translates here, but it looks like they're quickly losing one marble right now. It's a grudge match between these two, though. The Flying Saucers still have a lot going, but it's very close between these two. The Flying Saucers have the upper hand, and that's how it will stay. And our hosts are moving on to the semifinals. The Flying Saucers, if I'm not mistaken, don't have a single top 4 finish yet this season, and they want to get their first medal. The Snapping Turtles, unfortunately, not going to be able to get their own first medal of the season here. Surprising, considering they're usually the funnel experts, but as I've mentioned several times, the skill set is definitely very different between this and funnel endurance. But a 14:40, another great time for the Flying Saucers, and it's unsurprising that the host team is doing well here. Now the City Lights up against Team Pixie here. Let's see which one of these teams will make it through. It looks like the City Lights have the upper hand with that one marble. I think that's the reserve Lamp doing it once again, but it's very close between them. Team Pixie have a lot. They're overwhelming Lamp, and it's just not going to work out. Team Pixie will be moving on to the semifinals. Unsurprising for them, after upsetting the Jelly Jammers in the first round, they're already paving their way through to get their first medals of the season. It's shocking so far that Team Pixie doesn't have a single one yet. They've gotten 4th place 3 times, and they're trying to finally get one, but of course they have to win at least one more match to do so. The City Lights, unfortunately, not going to get their first medal of the season either here, as now move on to the Chili Peppers versus the Avocados. None of these last 4 teams have a medal yet this season, and we're off it. Right now, the Chili Peppers have a big advantage with that one marble going really wide, but the Avocados still have a couple left. They're trying to fight their way to the upper hand. They're doing it once again. The Avocados pull off another upset, and the Avocados will be moving on to the semifinals. This is already guaranteed to be their best finish of the season. They've been struggling so much at the bottom of the table. And the Chili Peppers, what happened to them? They won this event in their qualifier group, and they will not be going to the semifinals here. We've seen so many upsets already. The Jelly Jammers, the Chili Peppers, teams that we've expected to do well, even the 4K Pixels, getting eliminated, and the Avocados eliminated 2 of those aforementioned teams. And very impressive for the team at the bottom of the standings. The Snapping Turtles, unsurprisingly, getting the best time of the day for the 5th through 16th teams. The City Lights also looking solid, but that leaves the Ivy League, Flying Saucers, Team Pixie, and Avocados left for the top 4. We begin with the Ivy League, who are trying to take the point lead up against the Flying Saucers, our hosts, trying to get their first medals in their home stadium. It looks like the Ivy League lose one immediately. The Flying Saucers have that one going wide, but the Ivy League still have a couple trying to fight their way through. It's going to come down to the last marbles. Will the Ivy League make the move? No, they will not. And the Flying Saucers are on to the finals. They've guaranteed their first medal of the season in their home stadium, but will it be a gold medal? They haven't gotten a gold medal since back in the B-League days in Season 1, but they have a chance to fight for one here in their home stadium. The Martian Dome would love to see a home stadium gold medal from the Flying Saucers, but we'll have to see as they head into the finals. The Ivy League, meanwhile, have to fight for the bronze with one of these 2 teams, Team Pixie, up against the Avocados in the second semifinal. And we are off. Team Pixie right now look like they have a bit of an upper hand. Now they have a big upper hand. The Avocados are losing all of their marbles. Can they pull off another upset? No, they cannot. The Avocados will have to settle for 3rd or 4th place, depending on how the 3rd place match goes. Team Pixie, though, are going to the finals. They finally guaranteed their first medals of the season. They've been pretty comfortably the best team this season that hasn't gotten a medal yet, and they'll finally be getting one here, but will it be gold or will it be silver? We'll have to see when they're up against the home team. The Avocados, meanwhile, have pulled up so many upsets, but unfortunately, this is not going to be one of them, as 7.04 is not a great time for them either, but luckily, the times in the semifinals aren't going to matter, as they're going to the 3rd place match up against the Ivy League. The Flying Saucers and Team Pixie will be a familiar rivalry matchup for the finals, but first, we have this very green bronze medal match. Both of these teams have a lot to prove here. The Ivy League trying to take the point lead, the Avocados trying to move out of last place, and right now, they have the upper hand. Can they pull off another upset here? It looks like they might. They're trying to hold on, and they will be able to do so. The Avocados are going to do it. They're going to get their first bronze medal of the season. Their first medal of the season, even. They're finally going to do it, and it looks like the Avocados will be standing on the podium once more. They haven't been able to say that since the Season 2 B-League, but after so much adversity so far this season, they're finally going to get it done. Meanwhile, the Ivy League will have to settle for 4th, but that might still be enough to push them past the 4K Pixels, considering the gap was only 6 points. Now we move on to the finals. The Flying Saucers, the home team, up against Team Pixie, who are probably the favorites to win after being so consistent throughout. But right now, it looks like the Flying Saucers might have a bit of an upper hand. Now it's switching between them. Team Pixie has 3 marbles left, and they're going to do it. Team Pixie takes the gold medal here in Funnel Duels. After doing a great job in the qualifiers, they will continue that success all the way to a gold medal here. The Flying Saucers, heartbreaking. They won't be getting a gold medal yet in their home stadium, but still a remarkable finish for them after struggling last event. They've gotten top half in so many events so far. Both of these teams have been great so far, but Team Pixie will get the better of them here. They got a gold medal back in the Season 2 Collision, and they'll be doing it once again here with an 11:43. Not the greatest time we've ever seen. I think the Flying Saucers got the best time of the day other than the test run with a 14:50, but they still have a lot to celebrate with that silver medal, which matches their marbles quite well as their fans are cheering on in the stadium. There is the podium, the first unique one we've had in a long, long time, and all of these teams are going to be thrilled with these medals. It's hard to believe. If you had told someone 2 seasons ago that Team Pixie, the Flying Saucers, and the Avocados would be medaling in a main league event, they probably would have laughed at you. But right now, the Ivy League have a 1-point lead over the 4K Pixels. Meanwhile, the Stingrays dropping back 11 points behind the other 2. And Team Pixie have moved up. They haven't moved up in the standings, but they've definitely moved up into this battle, only 10 points shy of the Stingrays. Suddenly, things are closing up just a little bit at the top of the standings, but anything could change as we head into the next event, which will be Sand Moguls. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.